More than half of LGBTQ plus Southerners say families tried to make them straight. A new survey by the Campaign for Southern Equality and Campus Pride shows the challenges faced by many LGBTQ plus individuals from Southern states. According to the survey, 58% of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people live in 13 Southern states reported that a parent or caregiver tried to change or repress their sexual orientation or gender identity. More than 2/3 of transgender participants, 68.7%, and participants of color, 67.5%, reported experiencing these efforts compared to 50.8% of cisgender participants and 57.4% of white participants. Younger LGBTQ plus Southerners, those 18 to 24, were also more likely to report that a caregiver tried to change or repress their identity, 64.4%, compared to those 25 and older, which is 51.1%. Austin H. Johnson, the director of the Campaign for Southern Equality's Research and Policy Center and an assistant professor of sociology at Kenyon College, said, quote, "Thousands of individuals throughout the South are not getting the social support they need and deserve at home, in schools, and in their communities. This lack of support and inclusion is disempowering and may cause detrimental harm to their mental and physical well-being, especially when the lack of support gets compounded with clear state-sponsored discrimination, such as the passage of anti-LGBTQ plus laws." And I think he gets it right there. If we're in a don't say gay world and we're also feeling the pressure from our families to stay in the closet and pretend to be something that we're not, it's going to be harder and harder to feel accepted.
And isn't it interesting that younger people, 18 to 24, are now reporting that they're facing a higher percentage of discrimination than the older generation? I think that's evidence of this resurgent anti-LGBT movement that is going on right now.
Which is fascinating too, because members of Gen Z, almost 20% of them identify as some kind of member of the queer or LGBT plus community.
Yeah, and I think you have to not excuse, but understand that these parents who may be not well educated, may not know much about the LGBTQ culture and community, and then they're taking their lead from government and from religion and thinking, I don't want my child to be, ostracized, prosecuted, or not have, so they may think, well, what's my choice? Let me try to fix them. Is the idea. So it may even just be parents that are literally trying to protect their children the best way they know how, and that's the only way that they know how.
And that's your point of education. Like, they don't know how to do it. They don't understand the community or the support systems that we need or that are available or the ways in which we express our identities. And that level of education is something that parents definitely need.
We used to talk about this a lot at PFLAG meetings with parents, and many times, of course, the first reaction that parents have when especially a lot of the parents in PFLAG were parents of kids in sometimes middle school, high school, maybe college. The first thing is like, well, you'll grow out of it. It's all of the rationalization and which are terrible messaging to give to their children, but it's their first reaction. And so when you're supporting it now with all of these policies and attacks from government officials and the church, of course, is another source of this. It just compounds that. So it is a tough situation for the parents to be in.
I'd love to hear certain examples of these individuals, because I'm curious if it's something as subtle as, no, we're going to enroll you in a sport instead of a drama or a dance class, or here, play with this truck. Is that considered suppression, or is it just not allowing certain activities to be determined by the child?
Yeah.
Well, another interesting thing is that this was something that was being reported as occurring regardless of your identity. So LGBTQ people rarely have just one identity. We hold multiple intersectional identities, whether we're cisgender or transgender, whether we're people of color. And we have to make sure that we're addressing these issues throughout the South in culturally appropriate ways and finding ways to reach into all of these communities and provide support for young people.
Absolutely.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.